everyone, it's Anja here and I'm back with another video for Ophelia Talks, and today in this video we are making this delightful heart granny square. So it is just a normal granny square, but we're changing colors in such a way that we are shaping in there a colored heart. So I have two versions of this because I have a small heart. These two are smaller hearts, and I have a larger version heart. Now the only drawback of this kind of granny square is the ends. Now we are doing a lot of color changes, and that creates obviously lots of ends. Now I would suggest that you use this particular square for a cushion or for the middle of a blanket. Can you imagine how lovely that would be? A little blanket, and now you start doing rounds and you have that heart in the middle. So I think that is a really nice look, but obviously there are a lot of ends to sew in. If you don't mind the ends, of course, you know, it's really worth it. If you do mind the ends, just do the one square or just do the accent square like this. There are so many things you can do, but I just really love the look of this heart square. So I do hope you will join me in trying to make it. So what you need for this heart square, I am using Starcraft Special DK acrylic yarn, but obviously you can use any yarn depending on what your project is. You can use cotton, any other combination as well. These are just two of my leftovers. I found this is a nice pink, this is a nice white, so I'm using clematis and cream to go together. Obviously you can choose whichever you like, but of course it's nice for the heart to be a pinkish or a red color. Then I am using my trusty 3.5. I always use a 3.5 for my Starcraft Special DK. You might be using a 4, but that all depends on your tension. I have a darning needle here which I will be using, and scissors. Now you are going to do a lot of color changes, so these are essential, and you will be doing quite a few sew-ins as well. Starting with a magic circle, you can replace it by a chain 4 and a slip stitch to make a circle, but I like the fact that the magic circle keeps it flat. So you put your end of your yarn in your hand like this. I make a cross over my fingers like so. I go under this strand here. I pick up the back strand and turn to bring it through. Go back to that back strand and you do a chain. Now I take it off my fingers and I am going to continue working like this, working over my two strands. I'm going to do another chain because I chain up 2 for my double crochets, so I'm going to leave it at that. If you chain up 3 and that's your normal tension, then please do so. Also throughout I am going to be using this as a double crochet. So the 2 chain I do in the beginning of every round is going to be classed as a double crochet, and I will talk about it as a double crochet as well. Now the first 2 rounds of this heart granny square will be just like a normal granny square. So we are going to do another double crochet because we are doing clusters of 3 double crochets. So this is our first cluster of 3 double crochets. Now 2 chains and another cluster of 3 double crochets. Remember, I use American terms. In the UK, this is called a treble crochet. And we do another 2 chains and 3 double crochets. Another 2 chains and another 3 double crochets. Two chains. Now look at your work and you have 1, 2, 3, 4 clusters of 3 double crochets, each time with 2 chains in between. So that's our first round of our granny square. We are going to pull gently. There we go. And all we need to do now is find that chain 2 here, skip it, and go under the first V, and we make a slip stitch. Now I am going to do 2 slip stitches to travel to the next chain space. There we go. Okay, so we ended here, which was the wrong place. You then do 2 slip stitches, and now you're in the right place to start your next round. 2 chains to make your way up again. This is classed as a double crochet, yarn over, and we do another 2 double crochets, chain 2, and another 3 double crochets into that same chain space, because we are making corners in this round. There we go. And we are going to repeat this for every corner. So 3 double crochets, 2 chains, and 3 double crochets. I'm working through this first 2 rounds of this granny square so you can follow, so I'm not rushing. I'm not going to do this quickly. I'm just going to, you know, keep going, and hopefully you can keep up with me. So we have 3 double crochets in the next chain space, a chain 2, and another 3 double crochets in that same chain space. There we are. And the last corner, 3 double crochets, 2 chains, and 3 double crochets. So we don't do any chains in between the clusters, we only do the chains where we have a corner. So here we are not going to do a chain, we are just going to find that chain 2 from the start, go under, skip that, go under the next 3 and do a slip stitch. There we go. Okay, now this is where the fun begins and where you will need your second color. Okay, so here we are in the wrong place to get started, so we are going to slip stitch into the next stitch and slip stitch into the corner. There we go. Okay, now to change color we are always going to pull the new color through on the last pull through, and that means, yes, I have to undo this slip stitch here because I should have used my new color. So the new color, you do your slip stitch, and instead of using the old color you just start using the new color, and now you are ready to get started. Okay, so chain 2, and we are going to do a corner, so another 2 double crochets. So we have our 3 double crochets here, chain 2, and before you go too far make sure you cut off your previous color. Okay, and let's continue making that corner. With 3 double crochets. There we go. Okay, then once again we have to change color, And once again, I did the last pull through. I am doing it now just so that we get used to it. Once you know where you have to do the pull throughs, you won't do that last pull through and you'll be straight into the next color. But it's just as a little extra step now to make it, you know, clearer for you. Also cut off your white, then a cluster on the side. So 3 double crochets on the side of your granny square here. What I also tend to do is just give this a little tug so it tightens up a little bit, because of course you're just working with loose yarns there. Then we go to the corner and we do a corner. So that's 3 double crochets, 2 chains and 3 double crochets. And once again, the next cluster is going to be a different color. So this time, look, I've remembered, we are just switching colors in the last pull through. And we do, don't get confused with all your ends here. I know there's a lot of ends, but it's worth it in the end. So we do a cluster of 3 double crochets. Now, I haven't cut my pink off, but I need it now, so yes. Let's cut it off and let's pull it through. There we go, see? And just tug them a little bit, the ends, there we go. I'm already going to cut off my cream. There we go, okay. So, and back with the clematis, and we are doing a corner. There we go, 3 double crochets, 2 chains and 3 double crochets. As you can see, there are a lot of ends, but like I said, that it is worth it. There we go. Okay, there'll be a lot of tips for sewing in these ends towards the end of the video as well. So now we are going to be working once again on the side, and we need a clematis side cluster. So we are still using the pink color for a cluster of 3 double crochets. There we go. Now, once again, oh, see, I've done it again. There we go. It doesn't matter. It's just easy, you know, once you've got that and you know you're changing colors, that's fine. It doesn't take much to undo that. Now we are going to do another corner in the cream, and that means 3 double crochets. I just tug this a little bit. Let's just cut off the pink, and we continue with 2 chains and another 3 double crochets in that same corner space to create a corner. No, not on the last pull through, so you pull through with the new color. There we go. Okay, and we are ready to do the last cluster here of 3 double crochets. And once again we are going to pull through with the cream, but I haven't cut it off yet. So let's do that and take this, and we are going to pull through with the new color. There we go. Okay, making sure you have all your bits where you have to have them. Then we are going to skip these 2 chains under the V there, and you do a slip stitch. And this completes the heart if you want a small heart. So if you want a small heart, you can just start doing your granny cluster row now in the cream. So what you will do is just slip stitch 2 slip stitches, and then you start doing your clusters as per normal. So corner, sides, and so on. Okay, in the cream. But if you want to make the heart bigger, which is what we are going to do now, you are going to start like the normal granny cluster row with 2 chains and a corner. So another 2 double crochets, 2 chains and 3 double crochets in the same corner. There we go. Yeah, so that's the corner. Now I am going to do, yeah, cut the pink off. And now I am going to do another cluster in cream on the side of my granny square. Not the last pull through. Find your new color and pull that through. There we go. Okay. Again, I give it a little bit of a tug. Oh, that made it bigger. There we go. And now we are doing the next cluster in pink on the side. There we go. And we are now ready for a corner. Of 3 double crochets, 2 chains and 3 double crochets. Yep, stopped in time, but there we are. The cream needs to be cut off. So let's do that. So bring in your cream. There we go. And just a gentle pull on the clematis as well, just to tighten it up a bit, and then into the next location to do 3 double crochets. And we do into the next location here, we do another 3 double crochets. And yeah, no pull through here, but we are going to pull through with the clematis. So once again, cut it off. And as you can tell, I'm cutting mine off quite long, which helps for sewing them in later on. Okay, and we pull through with the clematis again. And we do a corner. There we go. And I just keep tugging the little ends in. There we go, just to tighten up those stitches in between. They will get tighter once you've sewn them in as well. So a corner of 3 double crochets, 2 chains and 3 double crochets. There we go. And another cluster on the side here. There we are. 1 double crochet and the second one and the third one. And again, quickly correct myself there. Yeah, change colors on the last pull through. I haven't cut off my colors yet, so let's do that quickly, and let's pull through the cream. I mean, when you do quite a few of them, you do get used to you know, pulling through on the last pull through. But if you just do the one for the center of your blanket, I wouldn't worry about it. Do the pull through, you know, redo it if you have to. There we go. So 3 double crochets. I think there's an end in the way at the back there. Let me just lay that in a better position. There we go. In the next space there, and now we do another corner of 3 double crochets, 2 chains and 3 double crochets. And the good news now is that in fact we have finished the heart, we have finished the yes like I said, keep your ends under control. We have finished switching colors, and now what we are going to do is another round of granny clusters, just as you would normally, just with the one color. So I am finishing my round here with 2 more clusters. Here I'm going to skip the 2 chain, go under the next V and do your slip stitch. And now we are going to do 2 slip stitches and work a normal granny cluster row, where we are just doing the clusters as per usual in the one color. So a corner, and we are doing the sides here as well. There we go. So as you can see, yeah, look, this is coming undone a little bit, but that doesn't matter. Just do your clusters as per usual. In a moment, when we sew in the ends, it will all work out nicely. There we are. Oops. And here we do another corner. And you can really see the heart taking shape now when you finish your square with that extra round of clusters. See, look, it's getting there. Yeah, and here again, my pull through is coming slightly, a little bit undone, but that doesn't matter. We just continue with our clusters. So, like I said, you can use these squares, just a one square for the middle of your blanket. I've seen that a couple of times now, but also you can use them, you know, if you make lots of them, you can make them into a blanket itself, or for a cushion, which, you know, is you know, if you have lots of blankets already, that would be the better idea, because then you have the joy of sewing in all those ends, but only for the size of a cushion. And also, I have too many blankets already, so I'm not going to turn this into a blanket, although it's so appealing. Okay, nearly there. Few more clusters to go. And there we are, and the last cluster. And now we are ready for our slip stitch, so skip the 2 chains into the 3rd V. There we go. And we have a lovely heart shaped inner of our square. So we are going to pull that out, and now comes the task of sewing in your ends. I have a few tips for you about that. So let's just turn over our work, and let's start with the very last one, because I want to show you how to turn that into an invisible sew-in. So we are going to lay the stitch like that, and we are going to recreate a V. So go under here and pull through the yarn like so, and then go back into there, into the original last stitch. There we go, and we recreate a little V, and now look, you can't even tell where you finished. Then you sew in the end a little bit more, and like I always do, I do little loops. So I sew in, and then I go back, and then I sew in a bit more. Now, important here as well is that you cut off your sewn in bit straight away, because if you just leave it, think, oh, I'll know which one I've done, because you've cut them a little bit longer, you might not be sewing them in or the whole length, and you'll be sewing them in twice. So that's the one at the end, which is quite secure. The other ones are just standard, basically, to sew in. But the one here in the middle, that's the one where I want to talk to you about as well. So you thread it on to your needle, and because it's a magic circle, I pull it gently to tighten up the magic circle, and then I go into it like this, and I keep tugging it, and I keep tightening the circle. So again, I'm doing my little loop the loops, going back to where you came out, so just behind from where you came out, and I keep really tugging this in, and I do this quite a long way, longer than the others, because I want this to be really secure. You do not want your magic circle to come undone. Okay, and then again I cut it off, because otherwise it gets confusing to which ones you've done and which ones you haven't. So yeah, now there's the task of sewing in all these ends. But like I said, you know, you've got a really, really nice square. It's really eye-catching, so I think it's worth it. Because you've done so many of these pull-throughs with a different colour, you do need to just tug it gently, making sure that you tighten those particular stitches where you changed colour. Okay, and I normally do about 3 sew-ins, and then I cut it off, because, you know, otherwise you get confused to which one you've done or which one you haven't done. Also, I keep within the same colour, because otherwise you're going to see the colour of, you know, if you use red and white, for instance, you will see it through the white. Okay, so here we go. Voila, there's another one sewn in, and yeah, I've kept an eye on it. This is the one. I'm going to cut this off straight away, otherwise you forget which one you've done. Now I have continued sewing in my ends, but I just want to show you this one here. You can see sort of this color change at the front, but if you sew it in really well, you can eliminate that look. So let's just do that for now. So I need to just pull this slightly and sew it in. There we go. Look, sort of that made it less obvious. That's just the only one where you can sort of see it on the other side. I think it's because of the way, yeah, we changed colours, obviously. Look, now it's even less. Look, it's gone now. And so now I sew in the white as well. So I thank you very much for watching. I hope this was informative, this video, and I do hope you enjoyed that I didn't sort of, you know, skip bits. And yeah, show me your creations with this, because I really like it, and I just think it's really nice to have as a center of a blanket. Now, if you like this video, and if you have somebody else who crochets, please do share it with them. If you are new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button. It would be really nice to have you as a part of my Ophelia fan family. And please don't forget to like the video, and if you want to, leave me a comment. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!